Dear learners, we can start with lesson 14, financial statements without adjustments. I am Siba and today we can study the meaning of financial statements, objectives of financial statements, meaning and preparation of trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet. The statements prepared to know the result of the business and financial position of the business are called financial statements. Why we are preparing the financial statements? That is the objective of financial statements is to ascertain the result of business activities, to ascertain the financial position of the business, and it helps in correct decision making and it helps to judge the performance of management and to ascertain the cash position of the business. It includes mainly three parts: income statement and position statement. Income statement includes trading account and profit and loss account. Position statement includes balance sheet. So, financial statement includes income statement and position statement. Under income statement, you can study trading account and profit and loss account. And income statement is prepared to know the profit or loss of business of a particular accounting year. And position statement is prepared to know the financial position of a business on a particular date. So, income statement is trading and profit and loss account. Position statement is balance sheet. With the help of trading account, what you will be able to identify is the gross profit. The statement prepared to ascertain gross profit or gross loss is called the trading account. And here is the format of the trading account. It is divided into two parts. Left hand side is the debit side and the right hand side is the credit side. On the left hand side, as a first item, you have to write the opening stock. The stock which is there at the beginning of the accounting year can be called as the opening stock. And in the debit side, you have to write as a second item purchases. It includes both cash purchases and credit purchases. From there, you have to deduct the purchase returns. Now, what you will get is the net purchases. Along with that, on the debit side, you have to write all the direct expenses like wages, carriage on purchases, that is carriage inward. All direct expenses related to the factory. In order to make the product, you have to meet certain expenses like fuel and power, factory rent, etc. So, these are direct expenses. So, in the trading account, you will write only the direct expenses. So, I have written here wages on the debit side of the trading account, carriage inward on the debit side of the trading account. Similarly, fuel and power and factory rent. Then on the credit side, that is on the right hand side of the trading account, you will write the sales, that is buy sales. Sales includes both cash sales and credit sales. From that, you have to deduct the sales returns. Then you will get what? Net sales. As a last item, usually you will write the closing stock. That is the stock which is lying in the factory which is unsold, which is not sold. That is the closing stock. And after writing all the direct expenses on the debit side and closing stock and sales on the credit side, you have to balance the trading account. Usually, if it is a good business, you will get the gross profit. That is, gross profit will come on the debit side of the trading account. And gross if by case, if the business is not running at in a good pace, then you will get gross loss. Here is a question from the following balances extracted from the books of Messrs. Lakshmi and Sons. Prepare a trading account for the year ended 31st March 2012. I have given here opening stock, purchases, sales, purchase returns, sales returns, carriage, wages, fuel and power and closing stock. I have told you right now, opening stock will come on the debit side of the trading account. Purchases will come on the debit side of the trading account, sales on the credit side of the trading account. Purchase returns will be deducted from the purchases, sales returns will be deducted from the sales, carriage will carriage, here it is written as only carriage. We have not mentioned it as carriage inward or outward. So, when a question is coming in that way, we have to assume that it is carriage inward. So, we have to include in the trading account. So, it will come as a direct expense on the debit side of the trading account. Similarly, wages on the debit side of the trading account. Fuel and power is also another direct expense. So, it will come on the debit side of the trading account. Closing stock will come on the credit side of the trading account. So, that here is a answer or solution: buy sales less returns. Closing stock on the credit side of the trading account. Opening stock on the debit side to purchases less returns. Carriage, wages, fuel and power, all these are direct expenses. So, it is coming on the debit side of the trading account. Then you have to balance it. The balance is coming high in the credit side. So, that is 78,500, and if you are taking the difference, there is a shortage of 18,300. That will come on the debit side of the trading account as the gross profit. So, in the case of trading account, you are closing various entries. How we can say in the form of an entry: trading account to opening stock, trading account to purchases, trading account to all direct expenses, sales to trading account, closing stock to trading account. That will be the entry. And the balance in the trading account will be transferred to the profit and loss account. So, we have written here gross profit transferred to profit and loss account. Here is another question which I have given: from the following balances extracted from the book of Messrs. Panu Brothers, prepare a trading account for the year ended 31st March 2012. We have given opening stock, purchases, freight, power, custom duty, sales, closing stock. Opening stock will come on the debit side of the trading account, purchases also on the debit side, freight, power and customs duty on the debit side as direct expenses, sales on the credit side, closing stock on the credit side of the trading account. Here is the solution: to opening stock, to purchases, to freight, to power, buy sales, buy closing stock. In this question, to customs duty also. In this question, we got gross loss, that is the difference. There is a shortage coming on the credit side, and the total, when we are calculating the total, or in order to balance the account, you are getting 2,13,000, a higher amount on the debit side. So, you are getting gross loss. This will also be transferred to the profit and loss account. Then we can study the profit and loss account. Profit and loss account is prepared to find out the net profit or net loss of the business during an accounting year. So, with the help of profit and loss account, what you will find? You will be able to find out the net profit. Then coming to a format. In the profit and loss account, I have just told you gross profit will be transferred from the trading account. On which side? On the credit side of the profit and loss account, if it is a gross profit. If it is a gross loss, it will be transferred to the debit side of the profit and loss account. From the trading account, you have identified just now gross profit or gross loss. Gross profit is there means in the trading account it is coming on the debit side. So, it is transferred to the credit side of the profit and loss account. If gross loss is coming in the trading account means it will usually come on the credit side of the trading account. So, it is transferred to the profit and loss account on the debit side. So, gross loss is transferred from the trading account to the profit and loss account on the debit side. Then all indirect expenses are written on the debit side. So, if in a question, you can easily identify in this way. That is, what all expenses are necessary to make a product into a saleable one, those can be included as the direct expenses, and all other expenses can be considered as an indirect expense. So, you are so clear, I think so. So, salaries, office rent, printing and stationery, insurance premium, interest paid, freight outward, carriage outward, discount allowed, postage, telephone charges, etc. can be indirect expenses. All indirect expenses will come in the profit and loss account. On which side? On the debit side. Income will come on the credit side of the profit and loss account, that is commission received, discount received, rent received, interest received, etc. can be income. So, I have included that in the format. So, we have written all the direct expenses and we have brought down the gross profit or gross loss. Then we have to balance this account also, profit and loss account. You have to total the both sides and biggest total will be written. Then identify on which side there is a shortage. Usually it will be shortage will come on the debit side, that is the net profit will come on the debit side. So, I have written here net profit on the debit side. What I have written along with that, it is transferred to the capital account. Usually it will be transferred to the capital account. If you are finding a shortage on the credit side, that will be net loss. It will also be transferred to the capital account. Then coming to the preparation of a profit and loss account in the books of Sahil Brothers for the year ending 31st March 2012. In this question, we have included discount allowed, printing and stationery, office rent, repair, insurance premium, telephone charges, discount received and interest earned during the year. So, which are the expenses, which are the income, like that you have to identify. Along with that, I have given gross profit also. In this, we are preparing only the profit and loss account. So, gross profit will be brought down in the profit and loss account on the credit side. Discount allowed on the debit side of the profit and loss account, printing and stationery on the debit side, office rent being an expense on the debit side, repair also on the debit side of the profit and loss account, insurance premium on the debit side of the profit and loss account, telephone charges on the debit side of the profit and loss account, and discount received on the credit side of the profit and loss account, and interest earned on the credit side of the profit and loss account. Here also you have to find out the total. So, find out the biggest total and that will be written as a total amount, that is 1,05,000. You have find out a shortage on the debit side of the profit and loss account, that is 87,500, that is coming as a net profit. I think you have identified the preparation of profit and loss account and trading account. From the following information, prepare a profit and loss account of Messrs. Sarthak Traders for the year ending 31st March 2012. We have given you gross profit. So, it will come on the credit side of the profit and loss account, discount allowed on the debit side of the profit and loss account, salaries on the debit side, interest paid on the debit side, postage on the debit side, discount received on the credit side, commission received on the credit side, and sales expenses on the debit side of the profit and loss account. So, we have written as such, and then in order to balance, we have to find out the total on both sides. The total on the both sides, whichever is higher, we have to identify, and that amount will be written on the both sides, that is 77,400. That is the biggest total we have written there, and the shortage we have identified on the credit side of the profit and loss account, and we have written as by net loss, and it will be transferred to the capital account. Then coming to the difference between trading and profit and loss account, trading account shows the gross profit or gross loss. Profit and loss account shows the net profit or net loss. All direct expenses will come in the trading account. All indirect expenses will come in the profit and loss account. All direct revenue will come in the credit side of the trading account. All indirect revenue will come on the credit side of the profit and loss account. Similarly, direct expenses will come on the debit side of the trading account and indirect expenses on the debit side of the profit and loss account. Balance of trading account will be gross profit, which will be transferred to profit and loss account. Balance of the profit and loss account will be net profit and it will be transferred to capital account. What is position statement? That is, it is a balance sheet, and it is prepared to find out the financial position of a business on a particular date. And it is prepared on the last date of an accounting year. And position statement or balance sheet is prepared after preparing trading account and profit and loss account. It has two sides, left hand side and the right hand side. Left hand side is the liability side and right hand side is the asset side. We have divided the liabilities into internal liability and external liability. Under internal liability, you can include capital, profits, reserves. Under external liability, creditors, bank loan and other loans, and expenses payable. What is internal liability? That is, amount payable by the business to its owner is the internal liability. What is external liability? Amount payable by the business to the outsiders is the external liability. We can classify assets also into two, fixed assets and current assets. Under fixed assets, we can include land, building, plant, machinery, furniture, motor vehicle, etc. Under current assets, you can include cash in hand, cash at bank, stock, debtors, etc. And what can be the objectives of preparing a balance sheet? Objectives of preparing a balance sheet is to find out the financial position of the business and to know the position of the internal liabilities and external liabilities of the business so that timely arrangement can be made for their payment. And we are preparing balance sheet to know the position of fixed assets and current assets and to plan the activities for future on the basis of the present financial position. Balance sheet is divided into two parts, that here is the format. Under liabilities, you can include bank overdraft, creditors, loan, capital. The amount that is given in the question will be written in the inner column. Then along with that, you have to add the net profit, and if there is a net loss means you have to deduct the net loss, and if drawings is given means you have to deduct the drawings, and the remaining amount only will come in the outer column. Under assets, you can include all the fixed assets and current assets. Here I have written current assets first, that is cash in hand, cash at bank, debtors, stock. Under fixed assets, investment, furniture, motor vehicle, land and building, plant and machinery, etc. Here is also one question for the preparation of the balance sheet. We have given you drawings, capital, furniture, just identifying the liabilities and just identifying the assets. That is what we need for preparing the balance sheet. So, from the question you can easily identify the capital amount is given here. It will be written on the inner column. Then along with that you have to add the net profit and you have to deduct the drawings. Furniture will come on the asset side, debtors on the asset side, creditors on the liability side, investment on the asset side, cash in hand on the asset side, cash at bank on the asset side, bank overdraft on the liability side, bank loan on the liability side, and stock at end also is given in this question. So, coming to the answer, in the balance sheet, cash in hand on the asset side, cash at bank on the asset side, debtors, stock, investment, furniture, plant and machinery on the asset side. And on the liability side, bank overdraft, creditors, bank loan. Capital, in the inner column I have written and I have added net profit along with that and deducted drawings. Then the final amount is written on the outer column. Then if you are totaling, you should get the same total on the debit side and on the credit side, that you have done the answer properly. That is always in a business organization, assets should be equal to liabilities. One more question for the preparation of the balance sheet. We have given debtors. It will come on the asset side of the balance sheet. Cash in hand on the asset side. Cash at bank on the asset side of the balance sheet. Furniture on the asset side. Loan on the liability side. Plant and machinery on the asset side. Land and building on the asset side. Capital, in the inner column of the balance sheet you will write 1,37,000 and you will add the net profit and you will deduct the drawings from it. So, in the answer, capital, add net profit, less drawings. Creditors and loan on the liability side, and on the asset side, cash in hand, cash at bank, debtors, stock, furniture, plant and machinery, land and building. One more question I have written for preparing both trading, profit and loss account and balance sheet. You will have to prepare a detailed report of the trading account first. First, identify what are the items that I have told you. In the trading account, as a first item, you have to write the opening stock. Then purchases. If there is any returns, you have to deduct. Yes, in this question, there is returns. Then sales will be written on the credit side of the trading account. Then all manufacturing expenses or direct expense like manufacturing wages will come on the debit side of the trading account. Then you have to find out the balance. Sales will come on the credit side of the trading account and will be deducted with the returns. Here is the answer to opening stock, to purchases, less returns, and manufacturing wages will come on the debit side of the trading account. Sales, less returns on the credit side, closing stock on the credit side. You have to find out the total of the both sides and then find out the difference. Here in this question there is a shortage of 1,64,200. That is the gross profit. Our biggest total is written on the both sides, that is 3,60,000. And gross profit is brought forward or brought down on the credit side of the profit and loss account. And office expenses, commission, trade expenses and rent will be coming on the debit side of the profit and loss account. And discount received is coming on the credit side of the profit and loss account. It is an income, that is why I have written on the credit side. And here also you have to balance the profit and loss account, find out the total on both sides, write the biggest total came to 1,72,200 and the difference came to 1,35,800, which is the net profit. And in this question you have to write both trading, profit and loss account and balance sheet. Now you got capital from the profit and loss account. That amount will be written on the inner column of the balance sheet. And here in this question they have given drawings. Drawings will be deducted from it. Net profit will be taken from the profit and loss account and will be written along with the capital and will be added with the capital, and it will be written on the inner column. And drawings will be deducted, and this amount, that is after deducting the drawings and adding the profit, you will get certain amount. That amount, that is 1,75,800, will be written only in the outer column. That is the capital amount that you will show in the balance sheet. Identify all the liabilities like bills payable, it will come on the liability side, sundry creditors liability, bank overdraft liability. And in the asset side you can write all the asset. Cash in hand being an asset, I have written on the asset side. Bills receivable asset, debtors asset, closing stock asset, furniture and fittings asset. So on the asset side, if you are totaling both the sides, you should get the same total. Then only you can identify the work that you have done is so correct. Here we got asset side 2,79,800 and the liability side also 2,79,800. Now I hope you have understood from this lesson meaning of financial statements, objective of financial statements, meaning and preparation of trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet. Have a good day. Bye.
घर बैठे पाएं राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान यानी NIOS में एडमिशन, वो भी एकदम आसान तरीके से, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को होगी समय और धन दोनों की बचत। NIOS से शिक्षा कभी भी कहीं भी। शिक्षार्थियों, क्या आप जानते हैं NIOS में एडमिशन लेने का सरल और सुगम तरीका, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को ऑनलाइन प्रवेश लेने में सहूलियत मिलती है। NIOS में प्रवेश की प्रक्रिया पूर्णतया ऑनलाइन है। शिक्षार्थी घर बैठे इंटरनेट द्वारा प्रवेश के लिए सबसे पहले NIOS की वेबसाइट www.nios.ac.in पर लॉगिन करें। अपना ईमेल आईडी और पासवर्ड डालकर अपना पंजीकरण करें। पंजीकरण के बाद लॉगिन करने पर ऑनलाइन प्रवेश हेतु आवेदन पत्र खुलेगा। आवेदन पत्र को निर्देशानुसार भरें और प्रिंट आउट लें। इस प्रिंट आउट पर अपनी फोटो संलग्न करें। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश के लिए शुल्क हेतु भुगतान के तरीके हैं। क्रेडिट कार्ड के द्वारा, डेबिट कार्ड के द्वारा, राष्ट्रीयकृत बैंक के ड्राफ्ट के माध्यम से, जो कि सचिव NIOS नई दिल्ली या नोएडा के पक्ष में देय हो। भरे हुए आवेदन पत्र के साथ साथ डिमांड ड्राफ्ट और संलग्न किए जाने वाले दस्तावेज हैं जन्म रजिस्ट्रार के जिला कार्यालय से जारी जन्म प्रमाण पत्र की सत्यापित प्रति, जिसमें जन्म तिथि अंकित हो, पिछले विद्यालय से प्राप्त विद्यालय छोड़ने का प्रमाण पत्र जिसमें आवेदक की जन्म तिथि लिखी हो, प्रवेश फॉर्म का प्रिंट आउट NIOS के संबद्ध क्षेत्र केंद्रों पर 10 दिनों में पहुंच जाना चाहिए, अन्यथा उचित दस्तावेज न लगे होने पर आवेदन फॉर्म रद्द किया जा सकता है। प्रवेश प्रक्रिया की पुष्टि होने के बाद शिक्षार्थियों को परिचय पत्र व अध्ययन सामग्री डाक द्वारा तुरंत पहुंचाई जाती है। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश एक बहुत ही सुगम और सुविधाजनक प्रवेश प्रणाली है। ऑनलाइन ऑन टाइम फॉर सेफ एंड सिक्योर एडमिशन।
करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो, मित्रों हम उठे और जागे, मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।